Morning habits that change lives after 50. Secrets for longevity. Good morning, dear friends and subscribers of Meaningful Living. Today we're diving into a topic that can profoundly transform your well-being, boost your energy, and enhance your quality of life, especially if you're 55 or over. We often hear about the importance of morning habits, but are we always doing them right? Have you ever considered that some seemingly beneficial routines might actually be doing more harm than good? In this video, we'll unveil hidden secrets of morning wake-up routines and water consumption that can help you feel better than ever before. We'll discuss common mistakes that often go unmentioned, and how to correct them so your day starts with lightness and vitality. If you're ready to discover how small changes can bring about huge results, stick with us until the very end. Get ready to unlock truths that will forever change your mornings. Episode 1. Waking up your body and drinking water on an empty stomach. Many of you wake up early feeling not refreshed, but strangely tired, as if your night's rest brought no relief. Your body feels heavy, movements are slow, and after the first sip of plain water, an unexplained discomfort appears. Have you ever wondered if your habit of drinking water immediately after waking, which all doctors say is beneficial, might actually be subtly undermining your health? Do you know that feeling when it seems like with age, energy slips away like water through your fingers? You wake up but have no strength even though you used to be able to move mountains at this age. And you start thinking, well, this is old age. But what if it's not about age? What if your body is just trying to tell you something and you're not listening? Patients often come to me with complaints. Doctor, I drink water on an empty stomach as everyone advises, but then I feel dizzy, my heart beats faster, and there's a strange sensation in my stomach like something's wrong. Sound familiar? You do what seems to be the right thing and your body responds with discomfort, slight nausea, or even sudden weakness. Why does this happen? My name is Dr. Rahim Vidinkovich. I'm 60 years old, and for over 30 of those years, I've been helping seniors like you. And over these years, I've learned one important thing. It's not just what we do, but how we do it that matters to our bodies. Morning is a special time when the body slowly wakes up, when the heart, blood vessels, and stomach are just beginning their work. And if you act carelessly at this moment, your whole day can go awry. Today, I want to talk to you about a seemingly simple thing: how we drink water in the morning. It turns out most people make the same mistakes without even realizing it. But if you correct them, you'll be surprised how much better you feel. Your head will clear, your body will feel lighter, and your day will start without unpleasant surprises. The fact is, after 7 or 8 hours of sleep, our body is in a special state. Pulse is slowed, blood pressure is lowered, digestion is barely stirring. And everything we do in the first few minutes after waking affects us much more strongly than at other times of the day. This is especially important for those over 60. With age, the body changes. Water-salt balance becomes fragile, the nervous system is more sensitive, and internal organs need more time to get going. And even a small detail like the water temperature or the speed at which you drink it can cause an unexpected reaction. You know, science confirms what we feel from our own experience. Research from the National Institute on Aging in the USA has shown that older adults recover much better if they choose the right morning hydration routine. These aren't just numbers and graphs. These are real changes in well-being. That's why I, Rahim Vidinkovich, insist that we pay more attention to our morning habits. After all, health isn't just the absence of disease. It's how we feel every day from morning until night. Our body isn't a machine. You can't just turn it on like a computer. It awakens slowly, gently, like a flower unfolding towards the sun. And if we get up too abruptly, gulp down a glass of cold water, or rush without considering our condition, the body responds with slight dizziness, heaviness in the stomach, or even sudden weakness. It's as if it whispers, "Wait, give me time, I'm not ready yet." But how often do we listen? Episode 2. The danger of ice-cold water and the importance of warmth. One of the most common mistakes almost everyone makes is drinking ice-cold water immediately after waking. Yes, on a hot day, a sip of cold liquid seems like a savior. But do you know that for your body it's a real shock? At night, our body rests, the internal temperature is slightly lower than usual, the stomach is relaxed, and blood vessels are constricted. And then a sudden cold blow. The body panics, constricts, blood circulates slower, and the heart has to work harder to warm up. This is especially hard on those over 60. Blood vessels are no longer as elastic, and sudden changes can cause not only discomfort but also slight spasms, nausea, or even blood pressure spikes. I remember one of my patients, Mrs. Smith, a wise 70-year-old woman who worked as a teacher in California her entire life. Every morning, she started with a glass of ice-cold water, believing it was invigorating. But over time, she began to notice that her hands and feet remained cold until noon, and an unpleasant chill appeared in her stomach. She thought, well, what can you do? It's old age. But when she simply started drinking slightly warm water, everything changed. Her body responded with gratitude, the spasms disappeared, her limbs warmed up, and even her blood pressure became more stable. My dears, our health is like fragile porcelain. The older we get, the more gently we need to treat it. And if in the past we could afford abruptness, cold water on an empty stomach, quick jumps out of bed, now is the time to learn gentleness. Try replacing ice water with warm water, take slower sips, give your body time to wake up at its own pace, and you'll feel how your day begins to change. Without heaviness, without sudden dizziness, but with lightness and clarity. Episode 3. Slow sips and body awareness. Imagine the next morning, you wake up and instead of abruptly grabbing a glass of ice water, you pick up warm liquid, almost body temperature. It gently envelopes you from within like a soft whisper, I'm here, I'll take care of you. This isn't just water, it's the start of your day filled with care for the most precious thing you have, your body. You know, morning is a sacred time when our entire body, every cell, wakes up slowly like nature at dawn. And if we abruptly burst into this fragile process with large gulps of cold water, it's like waking a sleeping child with a loud scream. The body gets scared, constricts, internal organs tense up, trying to cope with the unexpected load. Now, imagine a different scene. You wake up, sit comfortably, take a deep breath, and start drinking room temperature water in small sips, with pauses as if speaking to your body in its own language. You give it time to wake up, to recover, to prepare for a new day. Isn't that beautiful? I recall the story of one of my patients, Mr. Johnson, a wise 72-year-old man. Every morning, like a true warrior, he would chug an entire bottle of water, a full 20 ounces, and then suffer from dizziness and weakness. He thought he was doing the right thing, that he was kickstarting his system. But in reality, his body was crying for help. When we taught him to drink water slowly, with love and attention, everything changed. His mornings became calm, the dizziness disappeared, and a lightness appeared in his body. He realized that health isn't an achievement but a daily practice of small yet vital self-care rituals. My dears, our body is not a machine but a living, feeling temple. And how we start our morning sets the tone for the entire day. Try waking up 5 minutes earlier tomorrow, sitting comfortably, thinking about something pleasant, and drinking warm water in small sips, with gratitude to your body. Believe me, you will feel the difference. Episode 4. The danger of plastic bottles by the bed. I want to tell you a story that will make you look differently at a simple plastic water bottle by your bed. It's not just convenient, it can be a silent destroyer of your health, especially for those over 60. Imagine a warm evening. You place a plastic bottle of water next to your bed so you don't have to go to the kitchen in the morning. Seems like such a small thing. But do you know that during the night, invisible enemies can appear in your water? Plastic, especially old or heated plastic, starts to release chemicals that slowly but surely poison your body. I will never forget the story of Mr. Davis, a strong 75-year-old farmer from the Midwest who had worked the land his entire life. In recent years, he complained of strange weakness, swelling in his legs and brain fog. Doctors were puzzled. His labs seemed normal, but he was getting worse each day. When we started investigating, it turned out that for his entire conscious life, he had been drinking water from the same plastic bottle that sat by his bed day and night, winter and summer. This bottle became his faithful companion, but along with the water, bisphenol, substances that disrupt hormone balance and slowly destroy health, were leaching into it. We convinced him to switch to a glass bottle. To our surprise, within just 2 weeks, his strength returned. He could work in his garden again, his mind cleared, and the swelling gradually disappeared. His wife cried with joy seeing life return to her husband. My dears, with age, our body becomes like an old, wise oak, strong but sensitive to the slightest changes. What went unnoticed at 40 can become the last straw at 70. Plastic bottles, especially those that sit by your bed all night, are a ticking time bomb. They release not only bisphenol A but also dozens of other chemical compounds that disrupt hormone function, affect blood pressure, blood sugar levels, and even our mood. I beg you, replace plastic with glass or stainless steel. Let this be your gift to yourself. Pour fresh water every morning, drink it with gratitude and love for your body. Remember Mr. Davis's story. Sometimes the simplest changes yield the most amazing results. Your health is a treasure that must be protected every day, every night, with every sip of water. Episode 5. Taking medications and breakfast. I want to talk to you about something very important. How we start our morning by taking medication. For many of us, especially those over 60, morning isn't just about waking up in a glass of water, but a whole ritual. Pills for blood pressure, cholesterol, maybe for the thyroid or joints. We do this automatically for years without thinking if it's the right way. You know, our body in the morning is like a delicate flower that is just opening its petals after a night's sleep. Imagine you're watering this flower carelessly, not drop by drop, but pouring a whole glass of water on it at once, and even with fertilizer. What will happen? The flower will choke, bend under the weight, or maybe even die. The same thing happens with our stomach and intestines when we quickly drink water and immediately take medication. I will never forget the story of our dear Mrs. Garcia from Florida. She's 77 years old, and every morning she started with a thyroid pill. She diligently took it right after waking, washing it down with a large glass of water, and then patiently waited for breakfast, suffering from nausea and weakness. She thought, well, what can you do, it's old age? And she meekly suffered, not even suspecting that everything could be changed. When we started investigating, it turned out that her stomach simply didn't have time to wake up. The medication, taken too quickly and on an empty stomach, acted like a rough blow, not help. We advised her to drink water in small sips, slowly, as if talking to her body, and then wait 45 minutes before breakfast. And guess what? Within a week, the nausea disappeared, and a month later, she confessed that she felt like she had shed 10 years. Her body finally received what it needed, not rush and stress, but gentleness and time. My dears, with age, our body becomes wiser but also more fragile. What went unnoticed in youth now requires attention and care. Medications are not just pills. They are helpers, but they must enter the body correctly. Some medications, for example, for the thyroid or iron, are not absorbed at all if taken too quickly or with insufficient water. Others, like painkillers or anti-inflammatories, can irritate the stomach if taken on an empty stomach. I ask you, let's treat our morning as a sacred ritual. Wake up, sit comfortably, take a deep breath, drink water slowly with gratitude as if filling a precious vessel. Take your medication consciously, without rushing, giving your body time to adjust. Episode 6. The importance of breakfast and preventing energy deficit. One of the most insidious mistakes is completely skipping breakfast under the pretext of cleansing the body. In recent years, intermittent fasting and various detox practices have gained immense popularity, and many, inspired by stories of quick weight loss and lightness, decide to start their day with just water. But is this really safe? After a long night, our body, especially in older adults, is in a state of energy deficit. Glucose levels are low, the liver has used up its reserves, and the brain, that fragile and demanding conductor of our body, is literally crying for help. I'll never forget the story of one of my patients, Mrs. Brown, a 72-year-old woman from New York. She was incredibly active, kept up with health trends, and once stumbled upon advice: drink only water until lunchtime and you'll cleanse yourself of toxins. She genuinely believed she was doing the right thing, and indeed, the first few days brought a feeling of lightness. But then something terrible began. Her hands started trembling, her thoughts became muddled, and one morning she simply couldn't get out of bed. She didn't even have the strength to lift her head. Her granddaughter, terrified, brought her to me. We ran tests, and although no serious pathologies were found, the cause was obvious: chronic energy deficit. Mrs. Brown was literally starving herself in the mornings, depriving herself not only of calories but also of vital micronutrients. We didn't drastically change her habits. We simply added a slice of whole grain toast with avocado and a spoonful of honey to her morning glass of warm water. Within a few days, she surprisingly confessed, "Doctor, I feel like I've been reborn. My head is clear, my body is energetic, and even my granddaughter says I complain less." Water is life, but it cannot replace a full breakfast. It doesn't provide energy, building material for cells, or those vital vitamins that our body, especially in old age, begins to falter without. If you're not ready for a hearty breakfast yet, start small. Like cottage cheese, a handful of nuts, half a banana, or at least a spoonful of oatmeal. It won't cost much money or time, but it will be a lifeline for your morning. Episode 7. Proper water drinking in glass bottles. One of the most common mistakes is drinking water too quickly, in large gulps, as if trying to quickly check off a healthy habit. But our body isn't an empty vessel that can be filled in a second. It requires respect, smoothness, and mindfulness. Imagine watering a dried-up flower. If you pour all the water on it at once, it will simply wash away the soil and won't have time to absorb. The same goes for our body. When we drink too fast, the water doesn't have time to be properly absorbed, and the stomach experiences unnecessary stress. Try making at least 3 pauses between sips this morning, and you'll feel the difference. The second mistake, which seems insignificant but actually hides a subtle threat, is the habit of drinking from a plastic bottle that has sat by your bed all night. During these hours, microparticles of plastic get into the water, and the water itself becomes dead, deprived of freshness. It's better to get a nice glass or metal bottle and fill it with clean, living water every morning. This way you'll give your body not just liquid, but a true source of vitality. And now, a story that touched me deeply. Mr. Robert, 75, had long complained of strange heaviness in his stomach after taking medication. He diligently took his pills, washing them down with water, but after half an hour, he would feel nauseous and lightheaded. It turned out the problem wasn't the medications themselves, but that he was taking them one right after another, without giving his body time to breathe. We changed his habit. Now he takes each pill separately, taking a 30 to 40-minute break in between. And miraculously, the nausea disappeared and his well-being improved. "Doctor, I feel like I've learned to drink water all over again," he told me at his next appointment. But the most important rule that unites all the others is not to skip breakfast. Even if you don't feel like it, aren't hungry, or don't have time. Remember, the morning meal isn't just food, it's a signal to your body, "I'm taking care of you, I'm giving you strength." You don't have to overload yourself with heavy meals. A slice of whole grain bread with cheese, a handful of nuts, or light yogurt is enough. When Mr. Robert started following these simple rules, his life changed. Dizziness disappeared, energy returned, and even his neighbors noticed that he started going out into the yard to play chess again. "I feel like I woke up after a long sleep," he confessed. Episode 8. Proper drinking posture and fresh water. There's one habit almost no one talks about, but it undermines the health of thousands of seniors daily. It's the habit of drinking a glass of water immediately after waking, without getting out of bed. It might seem beneficial, but this seemingly innocent practice hides the main danger. When we drink water lying down, the liquid enters the stomach at an incorrect angle, creating pressure on the esophageal sphincter. With age, this muscle weakens and water, along with stomach acid, can reflux back into the esophagus. Many seniors complain of a bitter taste in their mouth in the morning, but they don't even realize the cause is this simple morning routine. I remember the story of Grandpa Charles, who recently turned 79. 6 months ago, he started suffering from agonizing coughing fits in the mornings, sometimes leading to vomiting. Doctors suspected everything from bronchitis to heart problems until a nurse asked a simple question: "How do you drink water in the morning?" It turned out Mr. Charles had been starting his day the same way for 15 years. Without getting out of bed, he'd reach for a glass of water on his nightstand and gulp it down while lying on his back. We explained to him that over the years he had developed what's called silent reflux. Water with stomach acid regularly entered his airways, causing inflammation. After he started sitting up in bed, pausing for a minute or two and then drinking water, his cough gradually disappeared. "Doctor, I thought I was just getting old," he said at his last appointment, and there was such relief in his eyes. But there's another danger few people consider. When we drink lying down, our kidneys have to work against gravity. For a young body, this isn't a problem, but with age, the load on the urinary system increases significantly. That's why many older adults experience facial swelling, under eye bags, and a feeling of heaviness after a morning glass of water consumed while lying down. The advice here is simple but vital. Before taking your first sip in the morning, be sure to sit up for at least 30 seconds. Let this become a new ritual. Wake up, sit up, take a deep breath, and only then drink water. This way you'll protect your esophagus, kidneys, and heart from unnecessary strain. Even better, do a few gentle arm movements or slight head turns to wake up your body before giving it liquid. After all, water isn't just a drink. It's medicine that must enter the body at the right time and in the right position. Episode 9. Avoid yesterday's boiled water. After boiling, water becomes dead. Microbes die in it, but beneficial substances also disappear. And when such water stands open for several hours, it actively absorbs carbon dioxide from the air and becomes acidic. For an elderly body, especially one with stomach or joint problems, this is a real poison. Many complain of unexplained stomach pains in the morning, heartburn, and aching bones, but they don't even connect it to the habit of drinking yesterday's boiled water. I'll never forget the story of Grandma Helen, who had just turned 82. She was always a picture of health. She maintained her mental clarity and managed her household at her age. But in recent months, she began suffering from terrible stomach pains in the mornings. Doctors were at a loss. Her lab tests were normal, and they found no gastritis. Everything became clear by chance when her granddaughter noticed that Grandma drank a glass of water every morning from a kettle that had been boiled the evening before, and the kettle was half empty, with the water sitting in it all night. We suggested a simple experiment, to start boiling fresh water every morning. Within a week, the pain lessened, and after a month, it disappeared completely. "I lived my whole life and didn't know such a simple thing," said Ms. Helen, caressing her old enamel saucepan in which she now boiled water only in the morning. But the most frightening thing is not even that. Stagnant boiled water contains dangerous compounds, nitrates which turn into nitrites. For an elderly body, this is a double blow. Both digestion and the cardiovascular system suffer. Many unprovoked blood pressure spikes in seniors in the mornings may well be connected to this habit. So what should you do? The rule is simple. If you want to drink boiled water in the morning, boil fresh, or even better, switch to filtered room temperature water. This small change can give you years of healthy life. Even better, add a slice of lemon or a spoonful of honey to your morning water. This will not only improve the taste but also help the body wake up. Just remember, lemon is not for those with stomach problems. Episode 10, Brushing your teeth before drinking water. Every morning, millions of older adults perform a seemingly innocent ritual, drinking a glass of water on an empty stomach. But few know that this very moment can be the most dangerous of the entire day. The fact is, a huge number of bacteria accumulate in the oral cavity overnight. And when a person drinks water immediately without brushing their teeth, they send this entire army of microbes directly into their stomach. This is especially alarming for those with gastrointestinal problems or weakened immune systems. An older person's body, unlike a young one, cannot fight these bacteria as effectively. The result? Bloating, heartburn, unpleasant sensations in the stomach, and in the long term, the risk of developing gastritis and other diseases. I remember the story of Grandpa Tom, who was 85 years old. He always prided himself on his health. At his age, he could boast that he didn't take any medication. But for the past 6 months, he started suffering from strange stomach pains in the mornings. Doctors couldn't find the cause until a nurse asked, "How do you start your morning?" It turned out that Mr. Tom's first action, even before getting out of bed, was to drink a glass of water, and only then would he go wash up and brush his teeth. We explained to him that as many bacteria accumulate in the mouth overnight as would fit on a dirty toothbrush, and he was sending all these microbes directly into his stomach every day. When Mr. Tom changed his habit, first washing up, brushing his teeth, and then drinking water, the pains gradually disappeared. "I did it my whole life and didn't know it was harmful," he lamented at his last appointment. But that's not all. Morning saliva contains special enzymes that help kickstart digestion. When we drink water before brushing our teeth, we wash away these important substances, depriving the body of its natural waking mechanism. This is especially critical for older adults, whose metabolic processes are already slower. So what should you do? The rule is simple. Wake up, brush your teeth, wait 5 minutes, then drink water. These 5 minutes will give your body time to wake up and your saliva time to perform its protective function. And then the water will do good, not harm. Episode 11, Cold Water and Medication Intake. Among all morning rituals, there's one particularly insidious one, the habit of taking medication with cold water. It might seem harmless, but this simple act can negate all the benefits of the medications you're taking and even seriously harm an elderly person's health. When we take pills with cold water, an immediate spasm of the stomach's blood vessels occurs. For an older body where circulation is already slower, this is a real shock. Medications simply cannot be properly absorbed. Some are eliminated unprocessed, and some settle on the walls of the esophagus, causing irritation. Many seniors complain that their medications don't work, not even realizing that the problem isn't the drugs, but how and with what they're taking them. I will never forget the story of Grandma Evelyn, 79 years old. She diligently took her prescribed blood pressure pills, but there was no improvement. "Doctor, maybe I need stronger medication?" she would ask at every appointment. Everything changed when I accidentally saw how she was taking her pills. She'd grab a glass of ice-cold water straight from the fridge and gulp down all her medications at once. We explained to her that cold water not only hinders medication absorption but also puts an additional strain on her heart. When Grandma Evelyn started taking her pills with warm water, taking breaks between different medications, her blood pressure gradually normalized. "I thought water was just water," she said, shaking her head. Now, a pitcher of room temperature water always sits in her kitchen, and she takes her medication slowly, as if performing an important ritual. But the most frightening thing begins when cold water meets blood pressure or heart medications in the stomach. A sharp temperature drop can cause a spasm of the coronary arteries. Emergency doctors know of many morning heart attacks in older people that happen precisely after such a seemingly harmless medication intake. So what's the right way? First, the water should be room temperature or slightly warm. Second, you should take a break of at least 5 minutes between different pills. And most importantly, never take medication lying down or immediately after waking. First, you need to sit up, allow your body to wake up, and take a few deep breaths. Episode 12. Caution with lemon water on an empty stomach. We're going to talk about the habit of drinking lemon water on an empty stomach. Yes, that very beneficial lemon water that health shows love to recommend. I'll never forget the eyes of our dear Grandma Sarah from Arizona when she came to my office. She was 82 years old, and for the past 5 years, she had started every morning with a glass of warm lemon water, firmly believing it cleansed her body and gave her energy. But instead of vitality, she got terrible heartburn, gnawing stomach pains, and teeth that were crumbling before her eyes. "Doctor, but everyone says it's healthy," she cried, showing me her medical records. Gastritis, esophageal erosions, thin tooth enamel. All of this was the result of her healthy morning habit. When we switched her to plain warm water without lemon, her suffering gradually ceased. But how many years of pain could have been avoided? The thing is, with age, our stomach becomes like delicate tissue that's easily damaged. Lemon acid in the morning is like pouring vinegar on an open wound. It corrodes the mucous membrane, making the stomach scream in pain. But we often don't hear these quiet groans, attributing everything to old age. And do you know what happens to teeth after 60? Enamel already gets thinner, and acidic lemon juice finishes it off completely. I've seen so many older people with teeth worn down to the roots, and they all drank healing lemon water in the mornings for years. But the worst is its effect on the heart. One of my patients, Grandpa Frank, 78, started every day with lemon water until he ended up in the hospital with a terrible arrhythmia. It turned out that the sharp change in blood acidity put a terrible strain on his worn-out heart. My dears, I understand how much you want to believe in simple health remedies. But trust an old doctor. Your body in old age needs gentleness, not harshness, neutral warmth, not acidity, gentle awakening, not extreme cleansing. If you really want something in the morning for energy, let it be slightly warm water with a teaspoon of honey, or just clean, room temperature water, drunk slowly with gratitude to your body. Remember Grandma Sarah and Grandpa Frank. Their stories could have ended very differently if they had known this simple truth. Let's learn from others' mistakes, my dears. Your health is a treasure that must be protected every day, every sip, every morning. And if you really want lemon, drink it after breakfast, diluted, through a straw to protect your teeth. But in the morning on an empty stomach, it's better to just mentally embrace yourself, smile at the new day, and drink life-giving warm water without any additives. Be healthy, my dear ones, and remember, true health comes not from drastic methods, but from daily, gentle care for yourself, as if you were the most precious person in the world. Because you are that most precious person. Dear friends, each of us strives to live a full and happy life, especially during our golden years. As we've seen, the path to achieving this often begins with simple yet profound shifts in our morning habits. Remember, your body isn't a machine. It's a living, wise temple that requires attention and care. How you start your day truly dictates your well-being, mood, and energy throughout. Don't overlook these pieces of advice. Start small. Perhaps it's a change in water temperature, switching to a glass bottle, or making sure to brush your teeth before your first sip. Every step is an investment in your health and longevity. Your quality of life is in your hands. We sincerely hope this video has been helpful and inspiring for you. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. These insights could help many. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Meaningful Living so you don't miss out on more valuable tips for a fulfilling and joyful life. Thank you for being with us. We wish you sunny mornings, vitality, and robust health. See you in the next video.